Deserters are now agreeable. Nice. Wait, let's have a look. Character, reputation. Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Let's go to, yeah, let's see if there's any real vendors that we can talk to, like gun vendors. Unless he's the only vendor. That would make sense if he was the only vendor. I can't imagine like this place to be like fully stocked up with like supply lines and God knows what else. Like as if it was a real city. Maybe I shouldn't break in. You know, I won't break into stuff. I don't want to risk it. Workbench discovered. What workbench? Not this. Oh, there it is. There's the workbench. Pick up power regulator. Oh dear. Don't want to do that. We'll end up getting fucking barbecued if we do that. I'll leave this all be. Okay, let's have a looky. See here. Install mod. Can we damage type plasma? That would swap it. Corrosion, that's weird. Shock, corrosion, yeah, stick plasma. It's already a plasma rifle, so I don't need that. Just seems a bit unnecessary. Now that, on the other hand, having a plasma sniper and a kinetic sniper, that sounds like a decent enough plan. But I think having an unranged rifle might do us a lot better. Having one ranged option, having a scoped option and a non-scoped option will definitely help us out.
If you're hungry, there's meat turning on the spit outside. If you're bearing illness, find a place to lay your head down and I'll fetch you a poultice. Whatever your troubles with Edgewater, leave them at the gates and be welcomed here. Any questions, dear?
You must be Adelaide.
I have been called that, among other things. Green Thumb, grandmother, the strange old lady who keeps flowers. But yes, Adelaide will do just fine. Are you staying long? You should try some of my tobaccorn tea. I brew it in an old spittoon, but it's been cleaned.
Reed sent me to make peace with you.
Reed Thompson? You here on behalf of that cold-eyed reptile? Let's hear it. What's Reed's idea of peace, then?
You'll leave enough power that belongs to the town. Come back. Let's have a... Reed asks you to consider coming back to town. He's willing to make amends.
Make amends? Spare me. Only thing Reed knows how to make is a mess. Like everything else that comes out of Edgewater, that peace offering is canned. I and my own are living just fine out here by ourselves.
Reed asked me to divert your power over to him. He mentioned the geothermal plant.
He would do such a thing. The question is, why would you agree to his plans?
Your camp has a power regulator. I need to repair my ship.
Cannery's got a regulator. You want ship parts, you ought to rip them out of the cannery's guts and leave us be. If you're going down to the plant, you should divert power away from Edgewater and toward our end of the grid. Think about it. You'd be liberating an entire town from a lifetime of service to that odious cannery. Seems the sort of thing a hero would do.
What have you got against the town?
You've seen that miserable excuse for a town with your own lamps. Hollowed out workers laboring their lives away at the cannery, living off whatever scraps Spacer's Choice throws them.
What do you have against people trying to make a living?
It's not much of a living. Every single person in that town has sold themselves to Spacer's Choice. The company owns them. Body, blood, and bones. You've been there. You've seen it. All anyone ever does is toil over a cannery. They give their lives for some heartless corporation, and then they're tossed into a Spacer's Choice brand cemetery.
Let's say I help you. What happens to Edgewater?
Life in Edgewater grinds to a halt. The cannery shuts down, workers desert in droves, and our own little camp grows and thrives.
You think Reed's just trying to spite you?
You bring power to Reed's town and you'll be killing us. Reed knows it. He's counting on it.
I'll consider it.
I trust you will listen to your conscience.
Alright, let's skedaddle.
Anything else I can do for you?
When we first talked, I assumed you assumed I'd come to live here.
I am getting old, you know. These two lamps of mine are not as bright as they once were. Or I might have seen you for what you are.
And what's that?
Remains to be seen. Might be the man that saves the Veil. Might be Reed's personal gun hand.
Save the Veil?
People around here lack the strength to effect change. Or they have the strength, but not the will. You seem to have both.
Flattery won't work on me.
I can't stop you from conducting your business down at the plant. I just want you to know that if you take our power away, you will have brought an end to our way of life.
Reed's making an offer in good faith. You should consider it.
If you think Reed does anything in good faith, then you are asking to be lied to.
You and Reed obviously have some sort of history.
That's because Reed was my boss. I was the cannery's one and only flavor specialist, you see. Remember that limited run of white chocolate saltuna? That was all me.
There's obviously more to it than that.
My son worked in that cannery. When the plague started coming, he was one of the first to fall sick. We had a store of medicine locked away, but Reed refused to treat him. Said my boy didn't deserve treatment. Said the medicine would have been wasted on him. So I buried my boy in the cemetery, gathered my belongings, and left. That's as much of the story as you need to hear.
I'm guessing Reed has his own side to that story.
I could not possibly care less if he does. But you're surely welcome to ask him.
We've talked enough. Alright, well, like she says, we're perfectly free to ask them. Oh, mock apple. Oh, please ignore me. Please don't notice. Oh shit. I'm running out of fucking carry weight here. Oh no. Right. That'll do. That'll do. Right, let's sell the rest of the other guy and then make our way down to oh fuck me. Yeah, here's the guy.
Zoe says she fought her way out of a marauder camp with her own bare hands. Fresh off the limb, and that includes canid meat.
If you believe that, then you're a fucking fool. Okay, let's have a look. What do you got here? Volume of footsteps, radius of footsteps sounds. Decreases noise made while moving. Guess that helps for sneaking purposes. I don't think I even have access to barrels because my only two options was that I had was magazines and sights. So maybe there's maybe I need to upgrade my engineering stuff. Let's have a look. Mod utility, night step. That sounds useful, but a bit expensive. So I'll leave it be for now. Alright, let's have a look at the map. That's the geothermal plant. But we're going to go and do a save because we've played for a while and a lot of stuff has happened. We need to save. We can't be fucking dying at this right now. That would just be... Ooh. God. We'll tinker though. What was that? 6. Okay. Oh, I can't even afford to tinker that. So what does it do? Does it boost it by a level? Yes, it does. Look, so it basically levels the gun up. Sounds good to me. That's got like an inconsistent damage range though, 63 to 142. So that's good. That's actually really good. That's decent as well. I mean, I should maybe probably just focus on, you know, saving my bits until I get like a unique, but It goes up by like a DR point every 2 levels. That's not even worth it. Okay, get some sleep though. And drink us some consumables. Like, what the fuck? Tea. And some apples. I'll do. Oh. Okay, there we go. And we'll save the game. Sorted. Now let's do the long walk back to where we need to go. I'm not gonna lie, I find this difficulty more inconvenient than challenging, you know? Like, it's not... Let's try, is that camp respawned over there? Let's see what we can do. Oh, we want to go to the cannery anyway, talk to Reed. No respawns. Anyway, yeah, I want to go and talk. I want to go and have a look at the. Talk to Reed, see if we can get his side of the story. We've got to get our dialogues up and our speaky speaks and learn every option, because it seems we can take the power regulators from either one of these locations, and obviously it'll have a negative effect on our reputation for at least one of them. And it's like, do you want to go with the corporate people, or do you want to go with the non-corporates? You know, capitalism versus freedom, or some shit. I don't know. Examine. Wanted. Bert Bertle Cotton from the Space's Choice Department of Retirement. A right of execution. Effective immediately for Bert Cotton. Former vicar stationed in Edgewater. No longer in good standing of whatever instruction company. Okay.
Wish we had some better rations.
If you could see your way to getting us our power back, I'd appreciate it.
I want to talk to you about something.
Go ahead.
You taking a look around town lately?
It is my job to keep 2 eyes on my town. I am the steward of this place, and this is my watch post.
How long have you worked here?
I'm trying to remember, 25 years, 26. When you get to my age, the years just rush by. You stop counting altogether. I remember looking out this window and seeing the veils spread out from horizon to horizon. We were a sprawling town. We were booming. Times change, people change, but the veil will always be here. Spacer's Choice will always be here. Our work won't ever end. I take comfort in that.
Town has fallen to pieces.
I wish you wouldn't say things like that.
You disagree?
Yes, as a matter of fact. When I stand at my window and look out over my town, here's what I see. I see decent, loyal, hard-working people. I see a family. We are all part of the Spacer's Choice family. We are all doing what we were brought into this world to do.
You're loyal to Spacer's Choice.
This is a Spacer's Choice town. We're all part of the Spacer's Choice family here. The company keeps us warm, keeps us fed, keeps us working. Loyalty's got nothing to do with it, friend. This is good old-fashioned gratitude.
Let me ask you something else.
Go ahead.
What makes you think I can convince those deserters to come back?
That you are not one of us may work to your advantage. Adelaide and her folk loathe the people of Edgewater, you see. I admit the fault was mine. I'm about as diplomatic as a bristling canid. I just hope Adelaide and her folk will see their way past my flaws and return to town.
Sometimes people move on. It's the way of things.
Scripture tells us we all have our purpose in the world. Our work shows us that purpose. We should not have to move on from it. Yes, we have lost good workers to desertion. We have lost even more to plague. But it is why we must square our shoulders and carry on.
You and Adelaide have a personal history.
Losing Adelaide was the hardest. She was our only flavor specialist. When she walked away, I knew we were in trouble. Spacer's Choice Saltuna is renowned across the system for its quality flavors and additives. We used to sell citrus-flavored Saltuna in our heyday. Ever since Adelaide left, we have been reduced to selling unflavored and spearmint.
Let me ask you something
Go
else.
ahead.
You seem pretty fixed on bringing Adelaide back to town.
Adelaide was our only flavor specialist. We are a Saltuna canning institution. Saltuna without flavor is like a cysty pig without tumors, borderline inedible.
People don't you people eat anything other than Saltuna?
Were it up to me, friend, I'd stack our larders with Saltuna galore. No other brand of Saltuna adds as much vim or vigor to the body's humors. But, and this is something we must keep between the two of us, Saltuna is hard to come by, what with being a species indigenous to the seas of another world.
Hang on, so you're canning here? Hang on, so what are you canning here?
Oh, we've scavenged together some organic material from the surrounding environs. Mostly organic, mostly local mushrooms. Some of which possess a texture akin to a well-boiled slab of Saltuna. The difference is all but impossible to detect to any but the prissiest of palate.
Oh dear. Let me ask you something else.
Go ahead.
We need to have a word about this plague.
Can we not? Talking about unpleasant things always gets my bile up.
Oh dear. How long has this plague been happening?
That I cannot say. There was no moment when the plagues began. Disease always lurks on the fringes of society, waiting to infect the idle and the lethargic. But in the last 10 years, the plagues have become progressively worse and increasingly frequent.
You should have developed an immunity after repeated exposure to a single strain.
Corporate doesn't like us using the word should. It encourages the imagination. I believe plague is a test. It is a test of our loyalty and our fortitude. And it is one we will see through to the end.
You withhold medicine to your own workers?
If I had enough medicine to treat everyone who fell sick, I would, but I don't. I can't save everyone. So I have to choose.
So you'll let Adelaide's son die?
Adelaide's son was barely competent. I treat him with our medical rations, and it looks like I'm playing favorites. Now, I will not pretend to understand the suffering Adelaide must have felt on account of losing her child, but she is not the only one to have felt such suffering. I wish she had stayed with us. Adelaide left us when we needed her most.
So we can't drill into him about this.
Go ahead.
All right. Now, I do actually want to do this die robot before we fuck up this town, just in case we end up locking ourselves away from doing it. Which is entirely possible, I reckon. Enemies haven't respawned, that's good. Let's keep running, see what's what.